broken. Just this morning, a side of me open that I never noticed. We are the future, ride for the culture. Put my dirty clothes on the lines of a notebook. Never hide from exposure, show you nobody is unbroken.
Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember. Yeah, you will remember. You will remember. Yeah.
I'm unstoppable. Came too far to be barred by an obstacle. That's not an optional. What they call hard is like riding a bicycle. I'm phenomenal. Feeling like I could do what a mythological guy could do. Power is optimal. It's my time to make impossible and the possible.
Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember. You will remember. Yeah. I'm born again. I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember. You will remember. Yeah. Take me to the front line. Better get your head right. You ain't gonna take my friend away. Take me to the front line. Throw me in the limelight. You ain't gonna take my shine away. Take my shine away. Take me to the front line. Better get your head right. You ain't gonna take my friend away. Take me to the front line. Throw me in the limelight. You ain't gonna take
all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. You ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one. This is incredible! Can he get it done?
The grandstands are going wild.
Yeah, let's go, baby!
Boys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is the dirtiest week in sim racing. Today, we write the first chapter in the book that is the 2026 Crandon Championship presented by Track Racer. My name is Keenan Kuzin, and coming to you from the iRacing studio, joining me as well, your friend and mine, Jody Atterbury. And Joey, last year we saw the local Nicholas Dashley take his second crown in the morning. We saw Sean Winkler, Unk still got the PM victory. What is in store this week for us at the Big House? We have a long week of dirt racing ahead of us.
We do have a long week. I mean, it's only the first session, and it is going to be a week long of the Big House out here. I can't wait to see all of the action we got. You mentioned a few names from years past. We're definitely going to see some of those names tonight, or I should say we most likely are going to see some of those names tonight. And most importantly, like you said, it is going to get dirty.
About 100 names registered. I think that's the most I've ever seen for a Tuesday night session. And again, we've got way more for you this week. It's going to be a story. There'll be twists. There'll be turns. Thank you for joining us our first evening. And it's just the first of many special events as we go into the fall portion of our calendar. The biggest week in dirt road racing on the sim, but much more coming to you. Suzuka 1000 kilometer is a great race to have on there. Brit Car 24 new to the season. Bathurst 1000, Joey. There's tons of stuff still left. We're not even in October yet.
The special events calendar has definitely been ramped up in 2026, but yeah, you're right. In terms of the dirt road, you have highlighted the end of August Crandon Championship. Anybody that is going to be in the pro trucks is going to be competing this week. And talking about this week, let's actually go ahead and take a look at what is going to be going on. We're here on Tuesday night, right? 9 p.m. Eastern. That is our split right now. We're also going to be racing 2 sessions each day, Wednesday through Saturday, ultimately culminating in those super sessions on what is Saturday, the 11 a.m. split, and then also the 9 p.m. split, both of those Eastern times. And you might think to yourself, well, how do you get on the track with everybody? Well, guess what? It's pretty much open to anybody. So as long as you got a D safety rating, you can go ahead and enter these Crandon Championships. Now, it is based off of strength of field, so we're covering top split here. And kind of think of it as a mini championship. All these drivers are going to be earning points during the week on their finishes. And of course, those points are scored by the finishing position and the strength of field. So the better off you are in terms of the finishing position against a stronger competition, the more points you're actually going to score. And then that leads us into our super sessions on Saturday, right? It's going to be the same time, same format as what we're doing here in the qualifying races on Tuesday through Friday. So it's going to look very, very similar. However, it is going to be the best of the best when we get to those super sessions, Keenan.
Yeah, you can also think of it like the iRacing Indy 500 qualifying in the race. So you can spend all week trying to get your best qualifying position for Saturday, but also you don't have to qualify at all. You can show up on Saturday, jump in the truck, and race with some of the best that there is in iRacing short course racing. And speaking of iRacing short course racing, what other venue to have this iRacing special event than the Big House? This is the Daytona of short course racing in North America. It is in Crandon, Wisconsin. And if you are familiar with trophy truck racing at all, you know this venue very well. Opened in 1970, it's the 56th year in business for Crandon. They have their real-life event going on in about a week's time. If you're in the area, you should probably go. This is one of the best facilities for this type of motorsport in the world.
And, I mean, it's called the Big House for a reason, right? It is action-packed no matter what turn you look at, especially with the land rush starts that we'll eventually get into here in a little bit. But let's talk about the truck itself that we are going to be racing tonight. This is the Pro 4 truck, so it's got four-wheel drive. It's got incredible traction, especially down low in speeds. You see it's got a huge V8 up to about 900 horsepower, 6-speed sequential transmission, so a lot of these drivers are simply just using the paddles out here. The big thing, the weight, right up over 4,000 pounds, so you're going to see these trucks definitely lean over and change directions. You're going to see lots of body roll. The suspension up to 20 inches of travel, that will be tested here at Crandon, especially with how many jumps that we've got. No electronic assist, right? No ABS, no traction control. All the drivers, they're doing this by feel, and I think one of the coolest parts about these Pro 4 trucks, when we get on board with some of them, you can actually see the engine is right in the middle with the airbox. It is a really, really cool short course racer.
And we're not going to make you wait to see some action in these things. Let's take a look at what happened last year in our two super sessions. The first race is normally a little bit calmer. Our 11 a.m. split's normally a little bit more subdued. Not quite the case when it's going to come towards Saturday night. And of course, Nicholas Dashley, local to Wisconsin. Crandon is a very, very special venue to his heart. He was able to take his second win, the two-time winner in this event, Nicholas Dashley. But he didn't have it come easy. As that countryman was all over him and then some.
And it wasn't just countrymen. I mean, look at the racing that Crandon provides. Those land rush starts up 10 wide. Some of the chaos can definitely happen as there's massive funnel effects, especially with the pillars on the sides of these jumps sometimes. But the gravel pit, this corner, not uncommon to see 3, 4, even 5 wide. I'm sure we might even push it 6 wide on some of these starts. But this was that battle you were talking about between Countryman and Dashley, and ultimately in this super session, it was Dashley coming away with that win.
And Dashley, the only multiple-time winner going back to at least 2023. And again, this is his home track. Obviously, you want to win at Crandon regardless of where you're driving from, but when it's hometown turf and you grew up watching these races, I know it's in the sim, but we talked to Dashley about that last year. Very special for him. And then we get to race number 2, and this is where we had more fireworks. This is the 9 p.m. one. We have the higher SOF, and you're going to see right off the jump what these land rush starts will mean. You could start from first, go right way to the back. You can start right from back, right way to the front. Honestly, pretty clean, but because of that, everybody all over each other. We had battles all over the racetrack.
I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more technicalities with that turn number 1. We were talking about it pre-race that you really want to be on the inside of the racetrack so you can kind of choose your own destiny. We haven't mentioned the hairpin at all. Oh my goodness, that is going to be another zone that will be action-packed. Elbows come out every single lap. Some people try to rim ride it around the outside. Some people try to take the shortcut line. Check out the shortcut from the purple truck. I believe that was Sean Winkler making up a few positions. That's a great example of how many different lines we are going to see with the Pro 4 trucks.
And that's another thing, too, that we touched on a little bit in the beginning of the pre-race, is that there's going to be some storylines that develop during this week. That's Sean Winkler. The Unk still got it. Nice to see him be able to take a win. That he is your defending PM split champion. But we're going to be able to see people kind of develop throughout the week. People will get faster. People will get slower. I know last year we saw somebody kind of start off the week a little aggressive and then watched him put the Joker mask on. It called to him like the Goblin and just wasn't afraid to start throwing elbows. Really aggressive. I don't have to tell you, the audience, that this is really, really aggressive racing. And if you're watching this right now going, this sounds great, how do I get involved? It's only a D4.0 license. You realistically can get a membership right now, 30% off for new members, and be in one of those super sessions by Saturday.
It is pretty fun if you've never driven one of these pro trucks and you're thinking about it right now. Like Keenan just said, yeah, you can get in these sessions, even in the super sessions on the weekend. And if you've never driven them, they drive actually a lot like a road racing car in terms of how you make the speed, right? The jumps, the grip level, completely different. But in terms of kind of how you approach everything, if you're familiar with road racing lines, you will be familiar with the dirt short course lines. And then it's just adding the 20 inches of travel, 4,000 pounds, and flying through the air.
And we'll give a shout out to the community, the iRacing short course community, the dirt road community in general. One of the best kept secrets on the service. Very tight-knit community. A lot of people are friends and frenemies. And speaking of one of your defending champions, there is Sean Winkler. You need a house in the greater Seattle area, give Sean Winkler a call, or don't. It's up to you. And then another one of our defending champions, our 2024 PM split champion. There's Dane Culver. He usually spends most of his time driving dirt ovals racing, but seems to find his way into one of these races, Sean, towards the year. I know he's been looking forward to come back here.
I believe this is Nathan hopping into his rig over here. He got some Ferrari jackets in the back, but, you know, better than the Ferrari jacket, Keenan, do you see Thomas the Train Engine up there? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, he's creeping up there. He's, I don't know why he's pointing towards the wall. He's going to send it right there. And there's Scott Merrick, not in a costume this year. I'm a little disappointed. If you remember last year during the Super Session, he was in a monkey costume. A little disappointed, Scott. I'm expecting bigger things from you this week.
Well, apparently, like you said, put away the bananas. Maybe he'll be throwing them out on the racetrack because this place is going to get slippery as the races go on. But we are going to take a look into qualifying right now. This is Sean Winkler coming up now. This is turn number 1 in terms of the race start, but the actual start-finish line is just beyond the gravel pit corner. So how they set up these preparation laps and what they do might look a little bit different once we take the green flag and everybody's on the racetrack.
Yeah, we've got, you guys got a little bit of a treat in terms of who showed up for the Tuesday night race. Thad Countryman is your number 1 in iRacing here currently. Sean Winkler, your number 2, again, defending champion. And then you have some really, really strong names in the community. Evan McFarlane here as well, Brody Descher, Scott Merrick, as we said before, Daniel Solo racing all the way from Sweden, I believe. He's up late tonight, but if you want to get those big payouts on points and those big SOFs, racing in the evening is where a lot of the freaks come out, especially a lot of drivers being based out of the West Coast. So they'll have 7 minutes to run a lap. Usually you'll see one out lap and then their fast lap, and then they'll come in and get tires and then run a second lap. Then we'll have our sprint race that will decide the starting order for that 10-lap feature, and the feature is where all the points, and then on Saturday, where the hardware will be given out.
I'm happy you went over that 3 laps in qualifying. When we look at these trucks, and typically a lot of the members on iRacing, they're doing oval racing, they're doing road course racing. Like you said, short course, off-road, one of the best kept secrets in iRacing. But there is tire wear out here, and you want sticker tires. So like you said, they'll go out, run that lap, and then guess what? Toss that second lap kind of in the trash, put a brand new set on. Go back out there for lap number 3 and see if they can beat that hopeful banker lap that they've already done on lap number 1.
We are sitting on with Sean Winkler right now. Really happy to see him. It was a really popular win in the community last season, or last year when he was able to get the win. Sean's been so active, and basically if there's a league event or any hosted race and there's anybody showing up, you can bet the racecraft driver will be there, and he's got his first lap time on the board with a 15.869. Joey, we had predicted lap times in the 17s. Obviously, it depends on the dirt quality, but already Sean saying, I'm coming back. I'm going to be the first back-to-back PM champion.
Well, you know what? He was fast, but he's not fast enough anymore. Dane Culver has now overtaken that top spot, and Evan McFarland has slotted into what is second place. So a 15:35 with a 15:36. Those are the top two. Thad Countryman now goes third. So I think that you are right. We are in for a treat on the very, very first session of Crandon Championship Week.
Got Foster Smithies, a new name to this top split. Again, there are about 100 drivers that registered for this, and if you don't make top split, that's fine. There's still so much more racing left to do, but with a little bit more, experience here, we're seeing some new drivers that had a year to kind of get comfortable, learn the format, learn the truck. And it's going to be, again, one of those storylines that'll play out throughout the week, maybe seeing some new names that we're not used to being to the top of the leaderboard. Speaking of which, Matthew Lindy is now your current #1 qualifier with a 15:334, so just besting Dane Culver. That is a huge lap for Lindy. Is the 14 truck there. I believe that's Kendrick Cargill going just a little bit wide in Cowboy. And Joey, that looks like such the unassuming corner, but if you go a little bit too deep, so many things can go wrong so fast.
Yeah, you can definitely kind of go over the cushion in the hairpin, and then all of a sudden your lap time goes out the window. But something that I wanted to point out, yeah, we've had a rotating list of names up at the top, but it's all the way down to 5th place before we get our first car that is over 1/10 of a second off of P1. It is crazy tight.
Yeah, you want to think these guys don't take this racing serious? Well, you're going to have to, because the land rush start is one of the unique things about the Crandon International Raceway. We are 10 wide, 2 rows deep, this being from a recent session from the iRacing Short Course League. And as you can see, Joey, it starts off hectic and it ends hectic. Your whole race can go so wrong before you make it, more than half a mile down the racetrack.
Into Potawatomi, turn #1, everybody goes barreling, and if you're not on the inside, you can easily find yourself squished up against the wall on driver's left. But it's not just turn #1 that's chaos. Did you see those rollers that everybody has to jump over? Some of the trucks have a little bit of a smoother line, some of them get a little bit more airborne, and then everybody kind of has to figure out their position going from 10 wide down to about 5 or 6 in turn #1, and not only that, try to make it out the other end unscathed.
Yeah, one of the biggest misconceptions is that kind of if you don't make it first, second, third place, qualifying doesn't really matter, but especially when the field is this tight and a lot of these names race with each other all the time, every position matters. That's why the sprint race is going to be so important, because it decides the order for the feature, and that's why qualifying is going to be so important, because if you start between 5th and 8th, that could be the difference between you surviving that first lap and you being in the pits at the end of the second lap.
It is just absolute chaos at the big house, and if you think it's not this way in person, trust me, it is exactly the same way if you've ever been there, and you gotta make it through turn #1.
Recent update this week with iRacing Arcade getting its console release, able to play on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. 4 new cars, 4 new tracks as well, and a 4-player co-op split screen, Joey. This is now a great game for you to get a bunch of buddies around the TV, just like when me and you were kids, and be able to run doors. Look at the big boys touching doors there.
You gotta love to see it, and you highlighted it. 4 brand new cars. They got a new 60s Formula style car, the Formula Fangio, also an 80s style Formula car. I think my 2 favorites, though, the 190E DTM car, and you just touched on it, the big rig. How cool is that we got the big rigs in iRacing Arcade, but not only the 4 new cars, but also 4 new circuits and 5 new layouts. So if you love to have fun while racing, definitely check out iRacing Arcade, and that 4-player split screen on local, yeah, that's pretty much throwing it back.
There's going to be some arguments there on the couch, but speaking of arguments, here are your qualifying results. Matthew Linda is going to take the pole with a 15:334. Some notable names there: Dane Culver, his former teammate Evan McFarland right behind him in 3rd place, Brody Desher in 4th, and Thad Countryman going to round out your top 5. Sean Winkler down there in 9th, and Joey, the second part of the page. A lot of these drivers will be starting on that 2nd row, looking for something to happen here in the first couple of laps.
You want to just try to get away clean. I mean, that land rush start, if you can get through turn #1, you are on the right foot. However, sometimes trucks all of a sudden come into your vision, so it's not just turn number 1, it's also going to be carrying it through turn number 2 down into the gravel pit. I think once we come out of the gravel pit on lap number 1, that'll give us a good definition of who's up front and who's in the middle.
It's all quiet as we get the remainder of our trucks to the line, waiting for the flag. You're about to see one of the most exciting starts in sim racing. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 trucks deep for the first time this week and many, many more. We are getting ready, waiting for the flag to drop, engines revving, and we are green for our first qualifying race here from the Crandon Championship presented by Track Racer. 5 wide going down to Potawatomi, turn 1. I want to say 5 wide, maybe 10 wide. Do the drivers make it? This is the make or break corner, especially here in the sprint. I can't believe it. All trucks pointed forward as we go into Ponte turn 2. Maybe a bit of a toss-up back there. I think that was the 10 machine of Hadley Boyce. He's going to be facing backwards. But for the most part, for a Crandon start, Joey, pretty uneventful.
Relatively uneventful, but I'm looking at Sean Winkler. He is buried in the back of the pack, and remember, he was one of our Super Session winners in 2025. He is going to have some work to make up for, at least here in this session. I think I see it's the number 8 truck out front as of right now. That is Dane Culver on timing and scoring, but look at how dirty it is. The vision, a serious problem today.
That's not something we talked about at the beginning of the race. That's brand new for this season, the dust. Now, a lot of the drivers, and even just driving some hosted races, for the first couple laps, you are not going to be able to see anything. Just look at the dirt being kicked up by these 900 horsepower four-wheel drive machines.
And it's from all 4 tires, like you said, 4-wheel drive, and they're getting on the loud pedal down to the hairpin for the first time. Who's going to be overshooting the corner? Several trucks already in the wall. I think I see about 4 wide as they're trying to argue over who gets the smoothest line to complete really lap number 1 in terms of the land rush start. Still got about 3 or 4 corners remaining to officially complete lap 1.
I mean, it'll be commentator's curse, but you should see the front 5 kind of start to settle in and feel each other out, but that's not going to be the situation from about 7th on back. Throw a blanket over these trucks. The leading that is James Burke, part of the just a lot of organizing side. Big dive from the inside. I think that was Nathan Minster. He's going to get the pass done, but not get the rotation on the exit. He's going to have to defend going into Calamity Corner. So hard to complete a pass here at Crandon.
And up and over the jumps, and you see the accordion effects as more elbows come out, and I don't even know if that's called an elbow. I think that was just a hip drop there into the final corner that we've got here at Crandon. As you see, it's action-packed not only at the front, but I think the most intense racing is actually right here in the middle of the pack. You can't see. Everybody's 2-3 wide in every single corner, and everybody scraping tooth and nail.
I'd love to point out what truck is doing what, but this is basically everybody at this point. Is your front 5 or front 4 are just going to get settled in. That's Dane Culver hanging on to lead. Evan McFarland ended up grabbing 2nd place out of that as we have lost Sean Winkler. Sean Winkler is now just buried in this dogfight. 1 truck is off towards the land rush start as well. Usually the first sprint of the week is tame and calm, and everyone's just kind of getting settled. Nobody from 10th on back got that message, but Evan McFarland peeking on your leader right now, Dane Culver. Evan's going to give him the door. That's a textbook push. It's not a punt, it's not a ram, it's a push. Not enough to get the inside line. Dane's going to try to protect the outside, going into Calamity Corner. Not a bank corner here, not a lot Evan could do on the outside.
And I feel, especially with the track conditions so early on, you can take a little bit more advantage, especially down into the gravel pit with leaning on that line rather than having to really run the cushion on the racetrack. But you said calm. I agree with you. It is craziness in the middle of the pack. Oh, and there's a little bit of a shove to our leader from Evan McFarland. He says, hey, bud, I'm right here on the bumper. It's time to go, and if you park at the apex, I'm going to shove you through it.
Oh, there it goes, Evan. Big dive to the inside on Dane Culver. Dane Culver not a stranger to throwing these big, aggressive power moves. And, oh, he tries to cut off McFarland. McFarland sideways runs into Lindy. That's going to cause McFarland drop back. But now, Dane Culver in the clutches of Matthew Lindy, who had a ton of speed in qualifying. It's up to him, too.
Oh my goodness, one of the cool parts about these four-wheel drive trucks is you stand on the gas and you can pull it out. Down to the bottom of the screen, this is one of our incidents on the opening lap. So we talked about turn number 1 being chaos. Well, it was those double rollers after turn number 1 that caused the incident.
Okay, so maybe not as calm as we thought there. We're 3 wide for second place. That's the 11 machine of Lindian to the inside. Again, this corner, Calamity Corner, not banked. So if you're on the inside, you have a huge advantage. A lot of these corners, Joey, have a little bit of degrees of banking, and it's what makes it so difficult to make a pass stick here is you're able to carry some momentum at the outside as they continue to fight here. Dane Culver's running away with it.
Dane is starting to run away. He's loving what he is seeing in the rearview mirror, and just look at everybody trying to get the traction up out of the corner, and we are going to go 3 wide towards the hairpin. Now, typically you'll see the outside line really prevail, but if you get aggressive all the way down to the tree, all the way down to the berm, sometimes you can get that move done. These two are leaning on it. That's the number 3 of Evan McFarland. He is going to have the inside line going into what is turn number 1. The number 5 car now trying to take a look down to the inside as we ride on board with Scott Merritt.
I was going to say he's got the best seat in the house, but he's not just watching anymore. He's trying to defend. But Lindy, big move around the outside. Not sure if he can make that stick. McFarland trying to defend from Brody Desher. Desher gets that P2, but now going to have the over-under, the crisscross applesauce, as McFarland will have the inside in the gravel pit, but Brody shuts him down.
And 4 different lines just trying to see where they can pick out on the racetrack that's going to be the fastest. Now everybody's going to tuck in single file as they're going to be any, call it argy-bargy down here. A little bit of elbows out, but for the most part right now, these 4 are acting well behaved, but I guess what? Sand is running out of the hourglass. We only got 2 laps remaining here in this session.
Yeah, again, you have to start making decisions here now. Is it better to just kind of figure each other out and okay, maybe not. Evan McFarland going to try to make that move to the, or Brody Desher going to make the move to the inside of Evan McFarland. Evan not going to have the speed of the outside. He's going to let Brody go. But as I was saying, oh, no, never mind again. Evan, big move to the inside. He's not going to have the line quite there, trying to go for the slider. Can't get it done. That's a move to Brody Desher, but Brody be able to hang on to second place as now Evan has to defend from his former teammate, Matthew Lindy.
In my opinion, that was an excellent move from Desher just to get to the inside in terms of the traction zone as we get the battle for second on top and the battle for what is 7th place on the bottom. On the bottom, that's Thad Countryman currently holding off James Burke. Nathan Minster is also there, and Sean Winkler's trying to catch this group after he fell back 4 positions on the initial start. He's almost back to where he qualified.
Yeah, if he's hanging on to 10th place, that'll be the last truck on the first row. Kind of the danger zone for the first row, but still on the first row, somewhere you want to be. So still a position worth fighting for as we take the white flag here of our first sprint of the week. It is all but wrapped up for Dane Culver, but the battle for second is still very much underway as Evan McFarland trying to make something happen to Brody Desher, but Brody, it looks like he's finding some speed and getting away from that number 3 track.
And you're right. I think that the top 3 are pretty well sorted single file. If there's going to be moves down here at the hairpin, I'm looking at the number 9 of Scott Merrick. He kind of got shoved out of line a couple laps ago, but no, they're all going to try to ride that cushion and make this long straightaway as far as they can possibly make it. That gives you the ultimate top speed heading into this incredibly fast sweeping right-hander.
Yeah, very technical track, actually, Crandon. Again, very difficult to pass here, very difficult to set things up, very easy to make a mistake and open up the door to your competitors, but some gaps opening up now for this battle for about 3rd or 4th place. Brody's going to be able to hang on. Well, Dane's gone, but Brody's trying to hang on a second. You're going to see him go a little bit defensive there, but he's got to overlap the gap from Evan McFarland. The time to send is in the feature, so I think we're going to be able to see that, but Dane Culver from wherever he is with no lights on is going to be able to get the first win of his week in this first sprint race here on Tuesday night in our first qualifier. What a great start for him. I know he was disappointed he wasn't able to get the win last year, but to start his campaign for 2026, that has to be the best start.
Well, you asked where he was in the dark. I think he's part of the Bain family members over there.
He is the knight, Bruce. He is you merely adapt to the dark. He was born in it, molded by it, and it's going to bring him his first victory of the week, albeit in the sprint. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your results and your qualifying order for your feature. So Dane Culver will be starting from the hole shot all the way to the inside of that first row of 10. Brody Descher, Evan McFarland, Matthew Linda, and Scott Merrick will round out your top 5. Sean Winkler was able to hang on to that top 10, but that battle towards, again, about 8th to 12th place, absolutely insane. But the battle for the lead, Joey, was way more aggressive than I was expecting this early on in the week.
Well, especially in call it those first 4 laps. I mean, Dane really had to use some of that racecraft, and once he got those trucks battling behind him, it was a little bit of a different story, right? They were going 2 wide, 3 wide, and Culver was able to kind of balloon up that gap, so we had a little bit of a safety net. But what we're doing right now is there's about, call it 90 more seconds here in this little bit of a warm-up, and then we are going to hop over into the main race. We just did 6 laps in the sprint race. Well, get lined up for 10 laps of action. Can Dane Culver do the repeat and run away even more with more time?
And what's going to change between the sprint and the feature is the tires are going to wear a little bit more. The track's going to wear in a little bit more. They're going to have to run a little bit more fuel in that truck, so there will be some changes in terms of pacing of the race as well. As again, if you're watching this, you watch that sprint race. That was a pretty good sprint race, if I'm being honest. I'm a little biased, obviously, but you could get into this right now. So this is open to all drivers with a Dirt Road 4.0, D4.0 or higher. There'll be 2 time slots a day. Drivers will be competing to earn points throughout the week, much like an iRacing Indy 500 qualifying, but instead of lap times, you're racing head-to-head and earning points. And then it'll, if you run 4 races, it'll take the average of those 4, and that'll determine seeding for the Super Sessions on August 29th, this Saturday. Again, you don't need to race in any of these qualifiers, Joey. You can sign up for iRacing right now, spend the rest of the week getting your safety rating up, and be able to take part in the big race on Saturday.
Well, what is it going to take for me to race on Saturday? I'm going to be working on most of these Crandon shows with you guys, having fun with the production side of things, but on Saturday morning, I might hop into the sim and see if I can get into one of those Super Sessions.
We had some news on one of our new iRacing Studios drops for iRacing Arcade, but let's talk about an upcoming product from us. That will be NASCAR 26 will be available on September 18th. You can pre-order now by scanning the QR code. Joey, 3 brand new tracks, including Naval Base Coronado, which put on a banger of a race this season and was just renewed recently for next year. Cross-platform multiplayer, dynamic track surfaces, and dynamic driving physics improvements, and so much more. I know a lot of the folks over on the PlayStation Xbox side of things who've been wanting to get their feet wet in the iRacing ecosystem. You guys are going to love what's coming in store for you with NASCAR 26.
I mean, you covered it. I think the coolest part is PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC through Steam. So I think no matter what you've got, you can get on NASCAR 26. You combine that with the visual upgrades and the dynamic track. I mean, it's what you want in terms of visuals. It's what you want in terms of a racing experience with the track constantly changing. And it's what everybody wants, is to be able to play it on their equipment.
Nice little tribute to Kyle Busch as well. Confirmed recently that will be in NASCAR 26. We miss you, Rowdy. But of course, this is your qualifying or your starting order for our first feature of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, Dane Culver is not afraid to do what he needs to do to be able to stay in that P1 position. People you want to look out for, Thad Countryman didn't quite have the best qualifying. He's got the highest I rating here, and he's only been getting better every year, and he was already a threat last year. Keep an eye on that number 1 truck.
And I'm more looking towards the outside of these roads. Call it 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, because those are the danger areas. And down here, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, you might get a good run down into this fast sweeping turn number 1. However, as everything gets squeezed, drivers left from apex to exit, it can be bad news bears.
It all kind of depends on, you're at the mercy of the 9 trucks to the inside of you. If everybody decides to play ball, it's you can almost get an advantage of starting on the outside because you'll have a run and you're inside for the next corner. But they didn't really behave for the main. We'll see what they do for the sprint as engines fire up. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this year, we are green with our first feature race of the Crandon Championship presented by Track Racer. Not the best start for Dane Culver. I think that's Evan McFarland's going to get the jump on him in the whole shot. He'll protect the inside. And do we survive? No, we do not. That's 1, 2, 3 trucks backwards. I think everybody had it figured out. I think that Daniel Solo in the back that didn't make it. We have more trucks in the wall, Joey.
Brody Descher is one of those trucks in the wall, and I can confirm another nightmare start for Sean Winkler, one of the 2025 Super Session winners. It looks like it's the number 4 truck as of right now that is parked over in pit lane, so that's going to be another one that is not partaking after that incident in turn number 1. Neck and neck up here. I believe this is the number 3 chasing the 11.
John Smith came in like a wrecking ball, almost got to the back of Evan McFarland, and Matthew Lindy is going to take the lead as we get our first official run over the start finish. And look what happened to Dane Culver. He had the whole shot, he had the start, he had the starting position, but back into third, and now you have someone hungry like Sean W. Smith, who's going to be putting the bumper to Dane Culver to try to make something happen, but ends up dropping back on the exit of our Argonne corner as we're down in the Cowboy hairpin for the first time.
Oh, man, the dive from third place.
Classic.
Is he going to block the track? Yes, he does. That was a huge move from the number 8 of Dane Culver. He doesn't want to sit around in the dirt and dust of everybody else's tire tracks. He got familiar with how clean it was out front, and that's where he wants to go.
Remember that purple truck in the pre-race show that dived about 6 trucks and got that pass done? That's our boy in the number 8 machine, Dane Culver. I think he could do that move in his sleep. You've seen it time and time and time again. Just isn't afraid to start throwing elbows. And all these guys know how to throw a punch, but Dane is willing to throw the first one at any time, anywhere.
And he just threw one right there in the gravel pit, and now more contact between himself and Evan McFarland out front. You got to remember that he was able to make these passes. Yeah, huge accordion effect here to complete lap number 1, as it's call it a 5-truck breakaway. Then it's 2 seconds back to Nathan Minster. Very, very similar to what we just saw.
We're going to have a replay of that start for you coming up shortly, but keep in mind, you know which 2 drivers had a little bit of a coming together. It was Evan and Dane. They're not done yet. Speaking of not done, welcome to the Blender vote, ladies and gentlemen. This is about 7th on back. That Countryman is leading the charge here, just holding on to 8th. He's trying to hold on to the 13 of Foster Smith. He's off as there's dives left, right, and center. We're what, 4, 5, 6 wide as we have 1 truck going in deep. He's going to be sideways on the exit of Cowboy Corner.
I love Crandon. I was smiling that entire shot through the hairpin. I mean, it is the big house for a reason. Everybody shows up. Everybody tries to put on the best show that they possibly can. And Crandon always walks away with some of the best racing we'll ever see.
We've lost the 4 truck of Adam McAfee and the 6 of Brody Descher. They will not be completing this evening's event. We'll see them tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening, as here we go. Side by side, Evan McFarland, Dane Culver. Dane Culver trying to get back to the lead as we take a look at the replay on the bottom side of your screen of how he lost the lead and just not getting the start, Joey.
And it was that number 6 just with an excellent hole shot, maybe just the launch, the traction off of the green flag, and then you see him literally pushing the quarter panel of the number 6, and then everybody swamps through with the momentum. So it wasn't necessarily the cleanest turn 1 and 2 for our now leader, but he's made his way back to the front.
A lot of people are going to look at that and go, that's a dirty move. You can't lift in short course racing as we're not lifting now. Evan McFarland to the inside. Dane Culver, they come together. That's going to open the door for Matthew Lindy. He's got nowhere to go. That's Evan with the run on the outside, but not quite. They are going to be side by side in a Potawatomi. And as I was saying earlier, Joey, these 2 had it coming together earlier. It didn't go well for Evan, but now it looks like he might get clear of Dane, and Matthew Lindy's going to follow him through. Oh, more contact.
Huge landing for Lindy in that 3rd place truck. Thankfully, he's able to keep it on a racing line, and that's now going to provide the down low lunge from the number 8 car of Dane Culver. I should say the number 8 truck, and now he smacks the front axle of Evan McFarland. That gives him the clean line up and over the razor jump.
Amazing move from Evan to be able to have a move on the inside there. Gives a shot to Dane. Not going to be enough. Lindy trying to make something happen around the outside. And the more these guys fight, look who's entering the frame here is those 2 trucks behind of Scott Merrick and Sean Smith. So how much do you guys want to fight? I know this race isn't that long, but you have some time to be able to try to build the gap in these top 3. The more they start throwing elbows and shoulders, Joey, the more trucks they're going to enter this battle.
100% agree with you, and that's exactly what I think Evan McFarland wants right now. If I was to just look at the timesheet and look at the results as another huge lunge down into the hairpin, I would say Dane Culver's the fastest driver. He's got the fastest truck. He's
Oh,
already
there he
won the
goes.
first race, but if you get your elbows out, this is what you need to displace him out of the front.
Here we go. The same thing happened in the sprint, but this time roles reversed. Evan McFarlane now back to the lead. He's going to cover the inside, and that's Dane Culver. Dane Culver's backwards. He's going to take Matthew Lindy with him. Horrible landing coming off of turn 2 in the jump. He is P nowhere. Takes another truck with him, not resafing jointly. I don't know who he got into there, but Dane Culver goes from 1st to 6th. Mistake all on his own. Evan McFarlane now's got a little bit of a gap. Sean Smith to P2. Scott Merritt to P3.
Remember how we saw that race number 1, initial turn number 1? It wasn't actually the corner. It was those double rollers that threw everybody for a loop. That's exactly what caught out Dane Culver, just landing. And I'm not sure if he actually landed on this number 3 truck like we saw out of the number 11 of Lindy. However, once that hard landing took place, around the truck went.
Take a look through the back as there's, I don't know, everybody. As I think Sean Wickler's up in the mix of that. That's going to be the battle for 12. Richard Hardman is going to be leading this little mini train here as Nathan Minster, Cole Fisher, Daniel Solo. A lot of names you'll see participate in a lot of extracurriculars here in the short course world, as that's a shot from Nathan Minster. We talked about it a bit earlier in the show, Joey. Every position matters, especially in these top split races. The points that you earn now could be the difference between making top split on Saturday or being sitting in the second seat.
And what can be difficult is you see everybody just get as narrow as they possibly can up over those rollers because you have those giant pillars on either side. And now it's going to be even more action between the 7 and the 18 with Hardman and Cole Fisher as we get down into the gravel pit. This is the replay of what happened to Dane Culver and Keenan. Was it just on the landing or landing on the other truck?
I don't know. It's so easy to snap these trucks, Joey. They have such a small steering rotation that if you have some steering input when you land, there is a chance they just do whip the other way. Again, we do have four-wheel drive. There is a way to power out of it, but I don't think there was a lot Dane Culver could have done there.
No, and I mean, sometimes the big house can bite, and we haven't really shown much speed, but these trucks, remember, over 4,000 pounds as we get three wide, elbow to elbow to elbow, just shoving each other up onto the berm, right on board with the number 16 of Daniel Solo. But I was going to say, over 100 miles an hour is what you're doing right here before you jump on the brakes, and then through Potawatomi, turn number 1. It is easily over 100 miles an hour in terms of the rolling speed.
I think it's pretty safe to say this is some of the most violent racing on the iRacing service, just in terms of what happens, in terms of how much contact is being made. And you could barely see it. And this is after we've already had a sprint. What a change this dust has made. This is something we talked about. We knew was going to be an issue coming into the races. Dane Culver, again, not done fighting. That truck may be carrying a little bit of steering damage, a little bit of wheel damage. The toe might be knocked out of it. He's not done driving that thing.
He's going to try to find a little bit of clean racetrack, and unfortunately it's not going to have the traction. And with Lindy and Spalding kind of side by side, he's got the road plugged up right now. 4 laps to go out of this 10-lap feature right now. These are 5 trucks all battling for what is 4th place as the number 1 goes barreling in. That's that Countryman.
Yeah, he's trying to make a hole there, but there was 4 trucks in front of him that said, "Excuse me, Thad, no thank you." And now's the time. If you want to start making moves now, big move from Dane Culver again. He is so comfortable in Cowboy Corner, probably the trickiest corner on the track, is able to clear Hadley Boyce, who he did not finish the sprint. What a race for the 10 so far. As we're going to take a look at a replay here, Joey. You talked about it a bit before. You can use those poles to your advantage as a defensive move. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way you'd hope.
Sometimes it can cause massive accidents as the 17 is happy. This is the virtual world. That would have been a serious ouchie if you were in the cockpit.
I don't know if he could park there. I don't know if he's got a permit for that. Well held. It was nice balance, but they might get a ticket sitting there just on the player's flyaway going into Crandon Corner as we are crossing into about 3 laps to go. This race is all over. The racetrack's starting to spread out a little bit now, but some great races developing again. I touched on a little bit before, but the 10 have had the boys able to pull away, going from disconnecting in the sprint to being right in the thick of it in the feature, and then going up to that battle for 5th. It is not over as Matthew Lindy is up to P4 as Joey's got another look at a replay of the battle for 2nd.
Yeah, I think it was Scott Merrick getting around the number 11, I believe. So this is through after turn number 1, getting to the inside. Oh, and just shoving them up into the wall. You can definitely carry the momentum around that high line, but the problem is when you got another truck pushing you into that blue concrete wall, it is going to kill all the momentum.
All is fair in love and short course, man. It's not dirty racing. It's racing on dirt as we are side by side. Chase Spalding in the 5. That's Matthew Lindy to the inside. He still has the chances at a P4 here. Big move from Thad Countryman. He's now in the mix. He gets tagged, or he tags the back of Dane Culver a little bit as we are side by side. Joey, 2 laps to go.
Oh, man, what is the number 8 truck, that orange truck, going to do? He's just been blocked in by both the 5 and the 11, and we documented how he got into this track position, and you gotta wonder if there's damage on the truck. And Keenan, we talked about it before the show started, and we just had our first example.
We'll be seeing it, Dane Culver. That is a disqualification for the number 8 machine. Too many incidents. We will be seeing it tomorrow. That is how fast things can change here at the Crandon Championship. He started the race P1. He's ending the race 2 laps early.
And when it comes down to those super sessions and the points and everything, that's huge because that was our race number 1 winner in terms of that sprint race, and now it is just kind of unfolded into the hands of our current leader, Evan McFarland, as we keep our eyes on the number 5 truck leading this pack of 4. That's Chase Spalding, Matthew Lindy giving chase, Thad Countryman, and Hadley Boyce the caboose on the train.
Yeah, again, what do you do now? You just watch Dane disappear in front of your very eyes. That's a little reminder for these guys. They do race together a lot, but a lot of times in leagues where this is kind of just boys have at it. You don't have that privilege here in an official session. So now that you've seen Dane disappear, it might be a little wake-up call to these 3. Like, hey, we got all week, guys. Let's maybe take a breather here as, just kidding. Matthew Lindy to the inside, exit of Calamity Corner as we enter our final lap of our first qualifier here Tuesday night for a Crandon Championship presented by Track Race.
I was going to say, you can't take a breath yet, Keenan. We got 1 lap remaining, and these 3 competitors are all leaning on each other right now. Accelerate down to the hairpin as we get a shot of Evan McFarland on the top of the screen. He has set sail over 3 seconds on top of Scott Merrick, giving chase right now as more extracurricular activity. The number 11 trucks grabs 4th place.
Yeah, Chase Spalding just threw it in way too deep to Calamity, but he's going to get the run out of the corner. We're 3 wide going into Potawatomi. That Countryman to the outside trying to make something happen on Matthew Lindy. We're 3 wide again. That's Chase Spalding in the middle. That Countryman to the inside. That's why he's the number 1 truck. Look at the experience from that, but it's not over. Matthew Lindy going for the crossover now.
He's not going to have the track position as Evan McFarland looks at 1 more jump and 1 more right-hander, but the action is still packed for 4th.
Yeah, the Channel 199 truck of Evan McFarland getting the first feature win of the week. We'll talk to him later on, but the battle is not done for 4th. Chase Spalding and Matthew Lindy, they're beaten. They're banging. That Countryman's going to come home with 4th, Chase 5th, and Matthew Lindy 6th. For our first race. This is race 1 of the week, Joey, and we've already got an all-timer as there is battles all over the racetrack. Sean Winkler recovered to 9th. What just happened?
You know what just happened? That Countryman just put on a show in the last 2 laps. He was kind of buried there in that mid-pack battle and ended up in 4th, but I think the truck that stole the show tonight, stole the spotlight, is Evan McFarland getting physical in the main race.
Yeah, and you have to. You're going to be racing the same drivers all week. If you lift, if you give somebody an inch, they're going to know they can take that from you every single time. So Evan McFarland standing his ground for Channel 199 Sim Racing. Going to take your first feature race win of the week with Scott Merrick. Got 2 P3s last year in both super sessions. He moves up to P2. He's hungry to be able to move up on that podium. And Sean Smith making the best of the best. Truck 19 being able to come away with a P3 today, Joey.
And it wasn't just these names that we see inside the top 10. I got a feel for Sean Winkler. I said his name a couple times, and he had 2 land rush starts that could not have gone any worse. So just kind of props for him for keep on doing laps and fighting back up inside the top 10 on both of those races. However, the big one, the number 8, Dane Culver, our first race winner, got the disqualification in race number 2, dropped from incident points. He finishes 14th in the main race.
We had 7 trucks bow out of that race in some sort of way, shape, or form. 7 trucks. 20 trucks go into the water, only 12 trucks, or 14 trucks, or 13 trucks came out. I'll get a number right eventually.
Desher was another one that dropped back huge.
Yeah, really, really, again, how fast things can change here at Crandon. So you want to keep an eye on people that will be trying to make the best out of a bad start to their week. Everybody at the bottom of that leaderboard. They're not done. We have so much more racing left for you this week, but they're the ones that are going to be on the back foot, as this race was a great start to be able to get some points, again, as we talked about at the beginning of our broadcast, Joey. It's all based on SOF, and this was a pretty strong one. So we're going to be really important, as we're not going to start off with P1. I think Evan is going to get powdered in the makeup room, but we'll jump in and talk to Scott Merricker, your second place finisher.
Yeah, I'm joined with the driver of the number 9, Scott Merrick. Holy smokes, what a way to start off the Crandon Championship week. Was it as exciting for you inside the truck as we just saw from the commentary booth?
I had a smile on the whole time. It made me not show on stream, but I had a smile on my head. I was up front. I wanted to be where I was at. The battling's happening in front of me. I was able to keep up. I did have a lot of damage, but with the battling happening in front, I was able to keep up and stay competitive. And then I decided to try something that I normally don't do. I only save for dirt oval, and it paid off. It got me one more spot up.
And I think the most important question to you that all of the fans and everybody watching wants to know, is there going to be another outfit maybe later this week like what we saw in 2025 from you?
I sadly don't have another outfit. I do have the monkey outfit. I don't know if it's on the camera. It's still over there. It's clean. It's ready to be worn. I'll probably make us a surprise Saturday.
Awesome. Well, great job on the Tuesday evening session, Scott, and we'll be watching you throughout the week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Scott Merrick. I believe we're going to be hopping over to the driver of the 19. This is Sean Smith, who finished in 3rd in the main race. And holy smokes, I think you're one of the biggest movers, up 10 positions. How did you get into the podiums? Was it mainly through the lap number 1 shenanigans, or was it just racecraft pass after pass?
It was really just lap 1 shenanigans. I got like 12 spots from that, and after that it was some rough racing, but I mean, I just tried to hold a pace, and obviously I'm not the fastest out here, but you know, we still ended up holding enough pace to keep the 3rd, so I'll take it.
And now, so you didn't necessarily have the best qualifying in terms of up towards inside the top 5. What is all of the dust and dirt like looking through it all? Obviously, you made your way to the front, but you had to fight through a lot of vision to get there.
Yeah, you can't see nothing. Going into the corners, you're just going in blind and hoping that there's not a car in front of you. So really just got to kind of predict what you're going to do and predict what other people are going to do and hope it works and hope your line sticks.
Well, Sean, you said it, not me. You said you weren't one of the fastest, but you definitely finished inside the top 3. So great points to start off this Crandon Championship week. We look forward to watching you race the rest of the week.
Yeah, much appreciated. And I'll be in here for the rest of the week, seeing if I can do any better.
Well, Keenan, that was some of our fastest drivers that we had here on Tuesday evening.
Yeah, Evan's big timing us, I guess. We're just not cool enough to speak to Evan McFarland today, Mr. 199. We're buddies. I can make that joke. He'll yell at me later. It's fine. But, again, all those results, all the points are going to be posted, I believe, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll be able to track the goings-on all week long. You can follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky to be able to keep up with the goings-on, the comers and goers, as we see who's able to hang on to that top 20. Again, you can participate at any level. It's just deciding seeding, basically, for Saturday, but especially this top echelon of drivers, Joey, it's go or go home to make top split.
I mean, you always want to be the fastest, right? It doesn't matter which session, if it's Tuesday evening, if it's Wednesday morning, or getting into the super sessions, you always want to be the fastest. And you can go out, join yourself, see how you stack up against some of the best short course off-road racers that we've got on the service. And if this opening day of action is anything to go on, Keenan, you better buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride if you're in one of these sessions.
We already had tempers flaring, and we have, 4 more qualifiers to go? 4 at least. We'll start tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with our first of our morning sessions. It's going to see some new faces. I wonder if we're going to see Aaron Vasquez come back with Quentin Delomo. We'll see a lot more of the Europeans and a lot more of a pleasant hour for them at 11 a.m. Eastern.
I was pretty surprised to see some of those names on the list, some of the best road racers that we've got here in the service also joining that dirt off-road style. So let's also look and remember we've got iRacing Arcade. A bunch of new additions have joined this game. 4-player local split screen, 4 new cars, 4 new circuits, and 5 new layouts. It is pretty much a party if you want to bring your friends.
Yeah, especially now being available on console. Not that this game wasn't fun on Steam. I've had some fun with some friends playing the PC version, but this is a made-for-console game. It's a no-brainer. If you have an Xbox, a PlayStation, pick that up. Enjoy some of the new content. 4 new cars, 4 new circuits, local multiplayer split screen. You can punch your friends in real time. And again, of course, NASCAR 26 on the horizon. That'll be available September 18th. You can scan the QR code to pre-order now. That's got 3 new racetracks, cross-platform multiplayer, and what's described as driving physics 2.0. So a lot of work being done by the iRacing Studios team on the back end to give you NASCAR 26 in just a few short weeks, days' time.
I can't wait to get on that one. I know that I was just at Road America and I saw a couple of the console games being played. It wasn't NASCAR 26, but really, really cool to see that these console games are getting out into not necessarily the PC world, but everybody can play them too.
Well, Joey, it's been a heck of a start. We won't see you in the commentary booth till the end of the week. But we thought we'd see a chill race, really like everyone kind of feel each other out. And it's not at all what happened at all, I don't think.
No, it's certainly not what happened, but I can't say that I'm too surprised. Crandon is known for the big house, and it's going to continue to put on a show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is again the first of many. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Sit down with your breakfast and your coffee or your lunch at work and see what the morning split has to offer. Thank you to the over 100 drivers that participated in this Tuesday night race. That's the most I think I've seen on a Tuesday night for Crandon Championship yet, and that number is only going to go up as we go later to the week. Congratulations to Channel 199 Sim Racing's Evan McFarland for taking the first win of the week. I know that he's going to be super excited about that, and to be able to represent one of the best names in off-road racing in Travis Pastrana. But ladies and gentlemen, my name's Keenan Kuzin. Joining me today was your friend and mine, Joey Atterbury. We'll see you next time. Keep it on the dirt, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern.